So the persons who are engaging in business transactions, for example, previously we have taken one example, that is Raj want to purchase 100 kgs of sugar from Kumar for rupees 5,000. Okay, in this situation, two persons, Raj and Kumar. So among both, some rights are creating, some obligations are creating. If you take the example of Raj, the right is creating is receiving 100 kgs of sugar, and the obligation is paying 5,000 rupees to Kumar. In the same manner, from the point of view of Kumar, the right is receiving 5,000 rupees after supply of 100 kgs of sugar for rupees 5,000, and the obligation is supplying that sugar 100 kgs of sugar within the specified time in a particular quality, so to that particular Raj. So each and every business transaction which is entered by mercantile persons creates some rights and obligations. So what are the rights, what are the obligations, and when there is any problem in exercising these rights or performing these obligations, so to solve that, the guidelines, the rules, procedures, all that in total we can call in the name mercantile law. So mercantile persons are the persons who carry on commercial transactions. They may be individuals, partnership firms, joint stock companies, banks, insurance, or whatever. So knowledge of mercantile law is essential to merchants. It helps the merchants to avoid conflicts with the persons with whom it comes into business contracts. So mercantile law, every person who is engaging in business activities, they should have the knowledge about mercantile law. They should know what are all the rights which are creating, what are the obligations they need to perform. If they are unable to perform the obligation, what may be the consequences they need to face. If they are unable to get that particular right, and what are the remedies available to get back that right. So in connection with this, the merchants or the business people, they should have the knowledge of mercantile law. As a commerce students, a business people, we also need to know about this mercantile law. That's why we are studying this particular subject. Now, Indian mercantile law or Indian business law. So on what basis, or what are the different sources, on the basis of that our countries, that is Indian mercantile law, has been evolved or created. Let us know about that under the heading main sources of Indian mercantile law. Indian mercantile law is based largely upon the English mercantile law, because before independence this country was ruled by the English people. So that people, England, the rules and regulations what are followed in England, the same they imposed in our India also. That's why our Indian mercantile law, today's Indian mercantile law, is largely based upon English mercantile law. Prior to enactment of various acts constituting mercantile law, the personal laws of the parties to suit regulated mercantile transactions. Before imposition of different acts by the English mercantile law, the parties, what are the different rules and regulations exclusively followed by them, that only applicable. The rights of Hindus were governed by the Hindu law, and that of Muslims by the Mohammedan law. In the same manner, other religions, they are going to follow their own rules according to their religion. In case of persons other than Hindus and Muslims, the courts applied the principles of English law in this particular country before independence. Further, where laws and usage of Hindus and Muslims were silent on any point, the principles of English law were applied. Before independence, at the time of ruling by English people, that is by England or Britain. The parties related to Hindus, the Hindu laws are applicable. The rules, the parties related to Muslims, the Muslim rules are applicable. And other than these two, English law is applicable. And on any particular situation, if Hindu law and Muslim law, Muhammadian law, if they are silent, in that situation also English law was applied. The first efforts to pass an act constituting mercantile law in India were made in 1872 by the passing of Indian Contract Act. So first time in India, a new act was introduced by the English people in the year 1872 in the name the Indian Contract Act 1872. From that time, a large number of statutes have been enacted concerning matters coming within the purview of mercantile law. From 1872 onwards, different types of laws or statutes have been created and implemented in this particular country before independence and after independence also. For example, the Sale of Goods Act 1930, the Partnership Act 1932, the Companies Act 1956, Banking Act, Negotiable Instrument Act, Reserve Bank Act, different types of acts we can see in our country at present. The main sources of Indian mercantile law. So what are the different sources on which our Indian mercantile law has been developed? The first one is English mercantile law, second statute law, third one judicial decisions, fourth one customs and usage. The first main sources of Indian mercantile law are English mercantile law. The English law is the most important source of Indian mercantile law. Many rules of English law have been incorporated into Indian law through statutes and judicial decisions. As we already know, before 1947, our country was ruled by English people, and the English people, what rules and regulations they are following in connection with business transactions, the same they applied in our country also. So on that basis, by taking different rules and regulations which are followed by them, the same has been continued in India after independence also, even today also. So the main source of Indian mercantile law is English mercantile law. Now let us see what are the different sources of English mercantile law on which that has been created, which we are following even today in India. So first one is common law. This is the sources of English mercantile law. The law is known as judge-made law. The persons who are identified as judge in England, they assumed some situations and they identified some of the rules and regulations which are called in the name common law. So these they created different situations and what may be the proper procedure for that particular situation, that is decided by a concerned judge, which may be imposed for that particular situation. So that laws, rules and regulations we are calling here in the name common law. It is based on the customs and practices handed down from generation to generation. So these judges, which are from generation to generation, on the basis of their customs and their practices, they have evolved or created these laws which are called in the name common law. It is one of the oldest unwritten law. The English courts developed these over centuries. Another source of English mercantile law are equity. Equity is also one of the unwritten law. It is based upon the concepts of justice developed by the judges whose decisions become precedents. So what are the shortcomings which are identified in common law? To come out from that shortcomings, some of the rules and regulations are newly developed and created where there should be equity, there should be justice to each party. So that type of law we are going to call in the name equity. It is again another source for English law. It grew as a system of law supplementary to the common law and covered the deficiencies of the common law. Its rules were applied in cases where the rules of common law were considered harsh and oppressive. So if the common law, which is not exactly suitable to a particular situation, if it is felt very harsh and which is very much punishable in manner, in that situation, to give justice to either party in a transaction or any particular event, these equity rules and regulations have been developed and created. At present, we are not going to find any difference between this common law and equity. Both are we are going to see in a single line. Other important sources of English law are statute law, which are the laws which are imposed or laid down in the form of acts in the Parliament of England. Again, these are also contributing a major part to the total English law. Then case laws. Any situation created and which came in front of the justice, in that situation, by analyzing a decision has been given, a judgment has been given by the judges, and these judgments which are given in a particular case, they also become sources for English law. So these are the four major sources of English law, that is case law, statute law, equity and common law. On the basis this English law or English mercantile law has been created. On that basis our Indian mercantile law has been developed